and welcome to today's video. Today I am reviewing another JP Delaney book. If you've been following the channel, I've read several of his books and really good stuff. This one equally as good. So yeah, I'm definitely a JP Delaney fan. The one we're reviewing today is My Darling Daughter. Got a copy of this via Net Galley, and I'm so glad I did because it was awesome. In fact, yes, this is a 5-star read from me yet again. So in this one, I should say though, this book is definitely not for everyone. Okay, this book should come with so many trigger warnings. So many trigger warnings, people. There is. Okay, where do I just start? There's just so much. There's just so much in this book, people. Anyway, we have Susie Jones, who is married to her husband Gabe. They are both singers. Gabe is also a singer-songwriter. He used to be in a very popular boy band, and now he's writing songs, composing music for other artists. Susie Jones is the singer in a band, and they're still going strong and everything. The story is basically Susie when she was younger, so pre-Gabe times, when she was starting out, she was a backing singer and stuff like that, and she got pregnant. Okay, and so this is our first trigger warning, people, about consented sex and exactly what that means and the different interpretations. Lots about the difference in what it was like sort of 80s 90s kind of time period, and then what it's like present day thanks to like the Me Too movement and things like that as well. So we're not talking rape in this sense, but definitely there's a lot of grey area and things which flew under the radar back then, which wouldn't pass nowadays. It would definitely spark the demise of a lot of people nowadays, whereas back then it wasn't really. Partly because there was less awareness about it as well, and so a lot of things that now we know, it's like, no, that is not okay for that to happen, and things back then it didn't get really talked about very much, so even the victims weren't really sure whether they were victims or not, if that makes sense. Anyway, I digress. So that's our first trigger warning anyway. So Susie gets pregnant. She is in with a bad crowd and things because of the whole music scene that she's in and the way that things were back then. So she got into drugs and she was having a lot of casual sex, let's put it that way. And anyway, she ends up having the baby taken away from her and put up for adoption. Okay. Come back to present day. She's got her life sorted. She's happily married with Gabe. They've been trying to have a baby, but she gets contacted from this girl, Anna, by social media, and Anna basically says she's her daughter. So Susie is ecstatic about this and can't wait to actually have a relationship with her daughter after 15 years have passed. And everything, but then it brings up a lot of questions from the past as well. Exactly how truthful she's been with even her husband and things. And then there's lots of secrets revealed from both of their pasts and things as it goes through. But anyway, moving on to our second trigger warning. Again, this deals with adoption and things and foster care and all that kind of stuff. Now, Anna, who in the book has various names because she changes. Anna is her adoptive name. Originally she was called Sky, And then later on she becomes Nikki for a brief period of time. But anyway, in all this, she's a very complicated teenager. Okay, so she is a teenager. She is 15 years old. Okay, this is important to remember. As it's going through her troubled past within the system and the family that she gets adopted by and things, when she's telling the stories of things that happened, it also goes into the medical care and the support given by social services and just like in general to families who adopt and have problem children because they've been scarred by their previous things that have happened to them, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. So it brings up a lot of different questions there as well. Anna herself does like to tell a lie or two, okay, and she does tend to go extreme with the stuff. So we're talking false allegations of abuse, but there's also real abuse in there as well. Seriously, this book would open up so many discussions. So I think this would actually be a really good book for a book club, for example. It is not easy reading by any means, but it is a really good book, and it's written well, I think, and it brings up so many discussion points. In fact, sometimes these books that make you feel a little bit uncomfortable can actually turn out to be some of the best books, because they make you question things. They make you consider how you really feel about really tough arguments that maybe you would avoid, like generally and things. So yeah, this brought up so much. So anyway, we have Anna. She comes back into their life. She's not meant to be back into their life because of all the legal stuff and everything. So we discover secrets from Susie's past and things as well. Also secrets from Anna's past. And in the process of everything else, we discover secrets about Gabe's past, as well as other things. So yes, gets all very messy. She goes to stay with them when she's not meant to go to stay with them. She then... there's a whole big mess. I don't want to give spoilers, you see, but yeah, there's a big mess and everything, and then she goes off and she's a runaway, and then she has underage sex with someone else, and then again there's the whole thing about consent. But then also from the other side of it, the person who is older and having sex with an underage, the fact that they might not necessarily know that that person is underage because the fake IDs and what they've said, maybe they act older and everything else. You know, they don't necessarily always go into it knowingly. And then obviously afterwards it's like they've done this horrible deed. So yeah, again, lots of areas for discussion there. Anyway, yes, so much happens in this book. We also have Anna's father who comes in later, and then that opens up a whole nother level as well. So there we have trigger warnings for drugs and prostitution and abuse in general, and a whole host of other things going on there as well. So anyway, yes, when you are going into this book, do be aware that it's not going to be necessarily an easy read. Do be aware that there are a lot of trigger warnings that come up with this book. That said, if you can deal with that, and like myself, actually sometimes like approaching books like this because they bring up that harder stuff, and they may really make you think about your own moral compass and the various different levels of things as well, because a lot of the time it's not just black and white. There is a lot of grey area in there as well. And so yeah, even like the drug abuse and things like that as well, like the blame of how it happens and the addiction, and you gotta see the whole picture. Anyway, so we have all that. We also have another trigger warning that I have to give here, is the fact that Susie and Gabe, trying for another child of their own, There's also trigger warnings here about miscarriage at various different levels of the pregnancy. So if that is a sensitive subject for you, then do be very aware of that. Myself went through a miscarriage. It is not a good experience. It does stay with you for life. But then again, as well, there's the various different levels of how far on the pregnancy was and things. And in this book, it touches on various different levels. Okay, so even a far gone pregnancy and things like that. It also touches on termination, so the abortion as well. So like I'm saying, this has a lot of stuff. It has a lot of stuff, but it is also an excellent read. I am definitely fast becoming a JP Delaney superfan. So I would definitely be reading more books by this author. I would love to know what you guys think as well. Have you read any JP Delaney books? Have you read this book? How do you feel about books like this, which are hard-hitting with their topics that they cover and things like that as well? Do you like reading books like this, which are potentially harder reads, but they also bring about big questions and things and really make you take a closer look at yourself and how you view things? Let me know what you guys think about books like this as well. So anyway, that is it for today. Thank you for joining me. Please click the subscribe button if you haven't already so you don't miss out on new uploads to the channel. And give this video a like if you've liked it. And I will see you next time. Bye.